Triumph Herald Tyres. Now, I'm going to try and convince you to fit this 14513 Pirelli Cinturato CA67 because this is the nicest road tyre for a Triumph Herald. Okay. Originally, the Triumph Herald fitted 520/15 cross-ply tyres. And before you get involved in looking at the diameter of the tyre, let's contemplate the footprint to it. So hopefully Bert can film this in a way where we can see the difference. Look at that. Look at the width of that footprint. So in the fact that you're going for a radial tyre, you're immediately going dramatically wider in footprint. It's a big difference. The carcass structure of a radial is dramatically better and clever as well in that it keeps more footprint on the road. You get a vast amount more grip just by having a 145/13 radial tyre compared to a 520/13 cross-ply tyre. And on top of that, a Cinturato is modern Pirelli compounds. When some numpty pulls out in front of you, it will stop. Far better than probably your brakes are capable of doing. In your Herald, do you get wheel spin? Do you lock your wheels up under braking? It's not your problem. That's not your problem. You're not in need of more grip. So, and then when we get to cross-ply dimensions, the diameter of it, because so many people are concerned that the gearing is so different with these tyres, where actually the difference is not as dramatic as you might see. When you inflate this tyre, the sidewalls bulge out and it pulls the footprint in, and the difference in diameter is dramatically less than it looks like uninflated. It's closer to something like that. And then, with a cross-ply tyre, with the weight of the car sat in it, there's more sag in the sidewall. So the rolling radius of a cross-ply tyre diminishes more with the weight of the car on it than it does on a radial. So really, although they look dramatically different like this uninflated, when they're on the car, the actual performance difference is not so great. But the footprint size is the critical thing. The nimble handling of your car will be better on this 145, and better still if you go with the Pirelli Cinturato. So that's the argument for 145/13s. And I know so many of you will just ignore me and want a bigger tyre. So again, what I'd say to you is that the Pirelli Cinturato is the best suited carcass to your cars. And that's a 155/13 Pirelli Cinturato. These are actually really good value as well, because these aren't budget tyres. These are genuinely made by Pirelli. They're genuinely made in small batches by one of the world's best tyre manufacturers. The carcass structure is ideally suited to your car. It's not like a modern car. It's got relatively far travelling suspension. Your steering isn't close to the modern steering, which modern steering has more camber and caster, which is all set up to keep that tyre footprint of a more modern tyre on the road. You don't have that. You don't have that in your car, so there's no benefit to putting a bigger tyre on. It just makes the steering heavier and vaguer. When you look at it at a more reasonable diameter, the 155/13 is pretty darn close to your inflated diameter. But if you look at period fitment guides, what you'll find is that they recommend a 145/13 as a radial option for your cars. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to go with, because it's about the drive of it. It's about how it drives. So then let's look at some other options in here, just so you've got a bit more of a picture, because I know some of you guys like to fit a 165/13, but again, let's just look at that, and then some of you also go for a 175/13, 175/70/13. So just to get that picture again, I'm going to put this cross-ply on top, and you can have a look at the differences in footprint width. Now, what's the effect of footprint width? That means that the outer extremity of your tread pattern, I'm going to move on to the 155/13, the outer extremity of the tread pattern of the tyre is further away from the steering components of your car, and there it is on the 165. It's further away from the steering components, so the leverage on your steering components is greater, which increases the weight of the steering, it makes the steering slower, and it also wears the steering components as well. And the other knock on the effect of it is that when you're driving down, say, a dual carriageway or motorway, the rutted roads make your car tramline because of the leverage on your steering components as the outer extremities of your tyre pick up the unevenness of the road. It creates tramlining. So there we go. And my recommendation is stick with the real thing, stick with a proper period tyre, go 145/13 Pro Cinturato. We don't have a decent 520/13 anymore. Dunlop historic road tyres are tricky currently. That's a Camac, a budget alternative. I wouldn't want my car on that. So again, there we go. So I'm saying 145/13 Pro Cinturato will be the nicest driving tyre. If you're determined to have that slightly taller tyre for a bit longer legs and fill the wheel arches, again, Cinturato is the best thing, 155/13. We do have Michelin XS's, which is an asymmetric tyre from the period. They have chunk more money. The Cinturato is a great value, but these are really quite special because they're a bit more money because of the complication of building that asymmetric carcass and all the other things that go into such a complicated tyre. But again, Pro Cinturato is my recommendation. So any more information you need, contact longstone.com or ring 01302 711 123.